Good morning, kids. Welcome to another week of Simply Loved. You know, it's easy to love people who love you back. It's harder to love people who are mean to us. But even when people let us down, Jesus never will. He's a friend who's got our backs no matter what. We're going to start today with our Bible memory verse. You know, the Bible, we've talked about before, is God's true story of love. It's made up of different kinds of writing, including history, poetry, and even letters. Well, our Bible memory verse comes from the Gospels in the New Testament. It's John chapter 13, verse 34. Let's say it together. So now I am giving you a new commandment. Love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. In today's story, we're going to hear about how Jesus loves everyone. So let's imagine we were actually together in a classroom. Sometimes a teacher asks for a volunteer to help, right? And usually everybody wants to volunteer right away. It's fun to help the teacher. So you need to listen. Here are the qualifications for the helper that I need. You need to always wash your hands after you use the restroom. You need to always pray before you eat. You need to always wear matching socks. You need to have a Snickers bar in your pocket for me right now. And you need to be able to drive a car. So if you meet all of those qualifications and you could be my helper, raise your hand. Oh man, you know, I bet none of you have your hand up. And I bet it was that Snickers bar that got you too, wasn't it? Well, how does it feel to be disqualified? There's something you want to do, but you just can't do it. Has there ever been a time where you were left out of something because you weren't qualified? Maybe you were playing soccer and you got a penalty, so you had to sit on the bench. Maybe you were going to go to a party, but mom said you had to finish your chores first and you didn't get them done, so you had to sit out. In our Bible story today, we'll meet a man named Zacchaeus. The people who knew Zacchaeus thought that he should be disqualified from being friends with Jesus. They didn't think he was good enough. But Jesus had other ideas, since Jesus loves everyone. Jesus sees who we are and what we can be, his friends. Let's dive into our Bible story and see what happened to Zacchaeus. We all have happy days and sad days, and some days have both happy and sad in them. I'm going to tell you a story from the Bible about a guy who had one of those happy and sad days. Ready? So we're going to hang out with our buddy Zacchaeus. We could call him Zach for short. I bet I forget though, because I've grown up calling him Zacchaeus. So he's going to go through his super good, super hard day. This is from Luke chapter 19, verse 2. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. Well, Zach lived in a town called Jericho. He had a job there. He was the chief tax collector, which meant he made a lot of money. Zach made money by collecting taxes for the Romans, but he also cheated and took extra money for himself. His neighbors knew he was cheating, so they didn't like him. Zacchaeus may have had a lot of money, but he wasn't very popular. Okay? Some of us are finding out what it's like to be alone, right? We've been in our homes by ourselves for quite some time, unable to see our friends. So he was all alone. Then Jesus showed up. One day, Jesus came through town, and people lined up to see him. Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowd, and he couldn't reach Jesus. Zacchaeus couldn't reach Jesus, so he climbed a tree. Now, how do you think Zach, a grown-up, felt about climbing a tree? I don't know, maybe he was embarrassed. I'm a grown-up. I might have been afraid if I was climbing a tree, afraid I might fall down. How do you feel about climbing trees? Is it something that's fun for you? Well, if If he did climb a tree, he was able to see. When Jesus walked by the tree, he looked up at Zach, and he called out to Zach using Zach's name. Now this is from Bible chapter 9, Luke 19, verses 5 through 6. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. Well, Zach scrambled out of that tree and took Jesus to his house. Well, some other folks weren't too thrilled about that. They grumbled. "He has gone to be Zach's guest? Everyone knows Zach is a sinner." Think about that with your families for a moment. Why do you think people didn't like Jesus going to Zach's house? Have you ever been upset because someone who was mean got something really nice? People didn't see Zach's potential. They may have thought, once a meanie, always a meanie. But Jesus loves everyone. He sees potential when others see a lost cause. And guess what? After spending some time with Jesus, Zacchaeus wanted to change. He didn't want to be a cheater anymore. Here's what he said. But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham." Zacchaeus found a friendship with Jesus. Jesus wasn't just kind to Zach when everyone else was mean to Zach. He also let Zacchaeus know he was simply loved. And you are simply loved too. Jesus loves you, and you're never alone. Have a great week, everyone. I'll see you next Sunday.